Welcome, everybody, back to Anime Lockdown. Evan Minto of Azuki Digital Manga Cafe.
Oh, we're live right now.
We are live right now.
Sharing the microphone. Hello. Hey, everybody. I'm very happy to be on Con Space. I'm physically here at the convention. We're in the... Are we in a... Do we have a room? Are we calling this any kind of special room? This part of the con, I'm in con ops, I suppose, here with JP. It's an amazing honor. So I think I'm gonna switch the camera off. I'll maybe turn this back on when we go to Q&A. Let's see, turn that one off. There we go. So now we got the slides. Excellent. All right, cool. I think we're set up here. Slightly unfamiliar setup for me. Welcome, everybody, to Azuki, your digital manga cafe. Hopefully you've heard of us, but we just launched on June 28th, so it's possible that you have not. So let's jump right into things, and I'll explain what Azuki is and why we hope you are pretty excited about us, are as excited as we are to have launched. Whoops, I'm using the wrong computer here. There we go. So, Azuki is a digital manga service made by fans for fans, featuring the latest chapters straight from Japan. And yes, we are brand new. Just launched about a week and a half ago or so. So, for introductions, my name's Evan Minto, as JP said, and I am the marketing director for Azuki. I'm a lot of other things as well, though. We are a pretty small startup. Everybody's wearing a lot of hats. So in addition to doing stuff like this, talking to fans and kind of getting the word out about our new service, I'm also the lead web developer and lead designer and kind of a million other things. We introduced a couple other folks also wearing multiple hats at our AX panel as well. But it's just me here today. So for this panel, what I've got coming up for you is I'm going to kind of introduce what Azuki is, show you a little bit from the apps and kind of, the features that we have and some of the features that we are working on adding to the apps. Then go over the announcements that we recently had kind of pre-launch about some of the titles that the manga series that we have available on Azuki. And then it's all the fun part, but the really fun part at the end where I've got some recommendations for manga for everybody to check out that is available right now to read on Azuki. And just a note before I move on, we've got in the bottom right there a hashtag that you can use if you want to tweet about this or post about it anywhere else. And you can follow us there at Read Azuki. And as I will continue to mention throughout the panel, you can go to azuki.co right now or look us up on the app stores and download the apps while I'm talking. Please feel free to do that. So let's start with the introduction here. So where did Azuki come from? So we've got a pretty small team, like I said, about 4 founders who we're all manga fans. We all kind of wanted a place where we could read a large selection of manga from different publishers and things like that. Follow new releases as they came out, and really importantly was to have the manga community built into that, and to be able to talk to other fans about our favorite titles. So we took our experience from our time at Crunchyroll. About 3 of our founders, including me, used to work at Crunchyroll. Some of you might know me from when I used to do a podcast over there. And we put that experience into creating what has become Azuki, which is a cross-platform manga streaming app with officially licensed manga. So without further ado, let's show off what we've got for the apps here. Azuki is available on web, iOS, and Android, and that includes basically the entire experience. So you can browse and find manga to read and then start reading it immediately on the web, or download the apps and find stuff on there. And you can save your progress across all 3. So you start reading something on web, then you gotta go hop on a train or something, continue reading on your phone. So that's like one of the great parts about digital manga, and especially a digital manga service like this, is it's kind of all available. You just kind of hop in and out whichever app you have at any given time. And you can see the reader there on desktop. One of the really cool things about our reader is that we support 3 different reading modes. We have a single page mode. You can swipe through horizontally, and then a spread mode that shows you both pages, and a vertical scroll mode. And we preserve, like when there's a art that stretches across multiple pages, we preserve those spreads in all 3 modes. So you don't kind of like have that experience of having it chopped up. So there you can see some of our web stuff. Here is some screenshots from our mobile apps. So, kind of aiming for the, an equivalent experience across all 3. And that includes, as a web developer, I'm very proud of this, includes us having a mobile responsive website. So you could even, if you just want to check it out on your phone, it'll work in your browser as well, even if you don't download the app. But we hope you do, because the apps are great as well. Here, I'll show off some of our community features, which are still evolving. We're looking to add a lot more in this department, but we have commenting on every chapter. There's a dedicated commenting thread for every chapter. This is one for Quintessential Quintuplets, Chapter 1. And this is accessible for both free and premium users. And so we do have the site's available for both free and premium. And free users can read the first chapter of most series with ads, and that's how we help support the creators behind all the manga. But the comment threads are available for everybody, free and premium. So even if you read a manga, somewhere else, you can come on Azuki and join the conversation with everybody else. So I mentioned premium there. Oh, you know what? I was going to talk about premium, but I forgot I had this slide before it. This is another very exciting thing about Azuki. We know, we got a great response from people when we announced this, which is that all the manga on Azuki right now is available globally except Japan. And so, we've got fans from all over the place reading it, not just here in the U.S. And it's all English right now. But again, as long as you can read English, you can read it anywhere in the world, which is pretty cool. Anyway, here's our premium membership. This is kind of the best way to experience Azuki, and it's just $4.99 per month. That's less than a single volume of manga, and you unlock every single chapter on the site. You get to read them without ads. As a guarantee, if you are a premium member, you will never see an ad on Azuki. And I think one of the most important parts of this that's really was key to the whole idea of this when we started it is that your membership goes towards supporting creators, the artists and the editors in Japan, and the localization staff. And that's like we think that this kind of this model of a streaming subscription service is a great way for people to kind of have convenient access to manga and still support the creators. And you can try all of this for free for 30 days. Go to azuki.co/premium and sign up. And we hope you're really gonna like it and stick around. But you can kind of give it a spin and see how you like the apps and our great selection of manga, which I'll talk about in just a bit because I'm going to talk about our announcements. In terms of what's on the horizon for Azuki, here is a feature roadmap that we announced back at Anime Expo. This is not exactly exhaustive, but this is some stuff we've got on the list that we're looking at adding. We have gotten a lot of feedback from people who have jumped on Azuki, right at the beginning, and we're really kind of like sifting through that, figuring out what's really going to have the most impact and help people using the apps the most. So high on the list is we have search and add to list features on web, and those are coming very soon to iOS and Android to help make it easier to find things to read and to keep track of stuff that you're already reading. That's on top of we already do keep track of your reading progress, but add to list will let you kind of have a customized list of things that you want to follow. We're also adding UI for genres, filters, and sorting to help again with discovery, because we've got a whole lot of manga on there, so it's going to be helpful for people to be able to kind of filter through and find the stuff that they particularly want to read. And we have definitely heard feedback from fans about wanting more payment options. You can sign up for premium right now with a credit card, and we're looking into other options. We'll have news on like which specific ones we're launching when, but we're definitely looking to be more flexible there so that it's easier for people in different countries and things like that to be able to sign up for premium. And last but not least is reader improvements. We're really proud of the reader we have right now. We think it's pretty flexible and kind of, we're trying to meet fans where they are. Everybody has a different way of wanting to read manga. Even among our staff, everybody reads with different reading modes. And we're definitely looking to add more customization there and more ways of making the reader kind of work better for your preferences. And again, this is not everything. We've got a lot of stuff we're working on, and we'll announce all that on social media as features get added. And we do very much appreciate feature suggestions and things. So thank you, everybody. Obviously, we can't do everything all at once, but we keep track of all of it and kind of try to figure out what to prioritize, what's going to happen next on the site and the apps. So moving on to announcements, this is all stuff that we announced in the past couple weeks and kind of recapping here. First up is the thing that we announced on day one, on the same day that we announced Azuki to the world. And it's a whole lot of manga from Kodansha USA. They've got they're an amazing publisher with so many really awesome manga. And we have got over 170 series from Kodansha, including 16 simulpub series. So this is one of the more exciting parts about this, having a streaming manga service like this is we've got these 16 series that we get chapters from Kodansha as they come out in Japan shortly after, and they're available to read in English on Azuki for premium members. So I'll talk about a couple of those in a little bit, and then we've got them on the homepage. There's a carousel where you can see the full list. And we've got over 160 series available to read from the beginning, so you can hop in at chapter 1 and kind of sample this huge range of genres and kind of demographics and things that Kodansha has got available. And for all of the Kodansha series, the chapter 1 is free with ads. You can try out any of these, even if you don't have an account yet, or if you're not ready to subscribe to premium yet. So in terms of simulpub, some highlights of those 16, we've got To Your Eternity, Eden Zero, from Hiro Mashima, and A Sign of Affection. I'm actually going to talk about a couple of these in a little bit. And these come out, kind of depends on the series. They come out weekly or monthly, depending on the magazine that they're running in. And yeah, as they're ready to go, we put them up on Azuki, and we tweet out when these chapters go live, so you can jump on them immediately. And then in the catalog of things that are not, some of these are currently running series, but they're not simulpubs. We've got Attack on Titan, obviously a huge favorite, Tokyo Revengers, which is very, very popular right now. It's very cool, and I know a lot of people are really jumping on it after it got the anime adaptation. And the Quintessential Quintuplets. I mean, the list is huge, so I'm just like showing you 3 here, but I mean, this is a pretty big list, and that's not even scratching the surface. You can see at the bottom right there, over 100 more. This is a good point to kind of address something that we've definitely heard feedback about, which is that for a lot of these series, we don't have the complete series just yet. And I think it's worth it to just kind of explain a little bit of how that works. So in some cases, that's because we have chapters that we're still uploading for some of these series. So we're still kind of getting those into our system. So in those cases, we are announcing those every Thursday whenever we add new content. And in other cases, this is stuff where, it's just kind of part of the licensing agreement that we've got. And we are working to get more manga from multiple publishers. But for any specific series that you may want, to see more, we definitely appreciate all the feedback, and we will have news for you if and when we've got more stuff to talk about there. But trust us that we are definitely working on it, and we want to have as many complete series available to read beginning to end on Azuki as possible. Next up is Kaiten Books. Kaiten is a pretty new publisher, less than 2 years old, but they've already put out some really amazing series. And we have 4 of them. We have everything that Kaiten has put out in English available on Azuki to read for premium members. So just to be clear, in this case, the chapter 1s are not free for these. So we've got My Dad's the Queen of All VTubers, The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, Gotcha Girl Core, and Uza Maid, all on Azuki. So again, here's just 2 of the highlights among those series. Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy about getting working with Kaiten. They're an awesome kind of new publisher. And they've got these really kind of a little eclectic out there series. My Dad's the Queen of All VTubers is a particular favorite of mine. And I think, having them on Azuki is a really great opportunity for folks who maybe haven't checked out these books yet to give them a try and see, the great work they've been doing. So that's pretty exciting to have those 2 publishers on Azuki, and we are working on adding more stuff. We will have announcements for you when we have things finalized and ready to announce, but stay tuned for sure. This is definitely not the last that you will hear from us in terms of new manga on Azuki. So to recap, we have got thousands of chapters, over 170 series, and they are all available globally except Japan. That's a lot of manga to dig into for just $4.99 per month for premium membership, which again gets you access to everything. If you are looking for updates, like I mentioned, every Thursday we announce new chapters that we have added to Azuki. We'll tell you which series and which chapters got added. And those get posted on our social media channels, which are at ReadAzuki on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So follow us there. We post about stuff there. And honestly, you wanna tell us what you're reading. That we appreciate that too. And for the Simulpub series, we also announce those as they go up. They're kind of sporadic over the course of the week or the month, and we post whenever a new chapter goes up there, so you can keep track of it there. Now, moving on to the part where I get to put my manga fan hat on and tell you about some manga that I personally am really enjoying reading on Azuki, and I want to convince you to start reading. So I'm going to do, I think I have about 5 or 6 of these, so I'll kind of run through them. First up is To Your Eternity. I mentioned it before. This is a Simulpub series that we have from Kodansha, created by Yoshitoki Oima, the creator of A Silent Voice. This is a little different from A Silent Voice. It's a kind of fantasy adventure about this immortal shape-shifting being who's kind of learning how to be human bit by bit over the course of the story, kind of through mimicry, through meeting different characters and learning and kind of adapting based on them. And I describe it to people as being almost a story about creating a character from first principles, where they start with nothing and then they kind of learn their emotions and ways of existing over the course of the story. And you may have seen the anime for this, which was just this past season, and I know got it some extra attention. It's definitely worth reading. Oima is a really great kind of emotional storyteller, but also an incredible artist. So what we have available for this is we have the Simulpubs. You can keep up if you're caught up already or close to caught up. You can keep up with the latest chapters, and we have chapters 1 through 4 also available if you want to try out To Your Eternity from the beginning. Next is the one I mentioned before, My Dad's the Queen of All VTubers by Wataru Akashingo, published by Kaiten Books. And this is, it does what the name says. This is the story of a boy who's a super fan of sort of not Kizuna Ai. Her name is like Kizuke Yai. She's the most popular VTuber in the world. And it turns out, of course, as the title implies, the person behind the motion capture suit is none other than his dad. And what ensues is a bunch of very painful cringe comedy that is also sometimes kind of sweet and plays with gender roles and expectations, and it kind of is about this very strange situation, sort of resulting in some family bonding. And it's very funny and kind of sweet at the same time. And this, we have all chapters available for Azuki Premium members, with more coming soon as Kaiten continues to translate and publish this series. Highly recommended. Take a drink of water here. Next up, A Sign of Affection, also a Kodansha Simulpub series by Sue Morishita. So A Sign of Affection is a shoujo love story about a girl who's it's a girl and boy in college, and she is deaf. But the boy that she likes is kind of this globe-trotting world traveler who speaks all these different languages, but doesn't speak sign language, and that's kind of where the sign in A Sign of Affection comes in. So it's a story that is about communication and miscommunication, and she's teaching him sign language, and they're sort of trying to reach each other through language and through things like her lip reading or sometimes misreading lips. And it's really, really brilliant, very well researched and observed. If you don't already know Japanese Sign Language or American Sign Language or something similar, you learn a lot about it through the series, which has a lot of kind of explainers and things. And it's also incredibly drawn. You can see from the cover there, the artwork is really, really beautiful. So yeah, this is a real treat that everybody should check out. Even if maybe you don't like shoujo manga, you might still get something out of it. And for something completely different, I kind of wanted to highlight a classic manga that we've got that I'm a really big fan of. We've got Battle Angel Alita by Yukito Kishiro, also from Kodansha USA. And this is obviously the inspiration for the Alita Battle Angel movie, which I thought was actually a pretty decent adaptation of this manga. And Alita is a cyberpunk story about a cyborg girl who's kind of figuring out who she is and what she stands for. She has amnesia. She's kind of trying to discover her past, but she does it by fighting. It's kind of what she knows and what helps her connect with her identity. And one of the things that I think is somewhat underappreciated by folks who only know Battle Angel Alita as like a name is that it's kind of like a genre bending story in a lot of ways. And it starts as, she kind of adapts to these different identities. It starts with her as a bounty hunter, and then it kind of turns into a sports story, and then it kind of turns into like a pseudo Mad Max thing. So it's really inventive and plays with these different kind of like action story genres or subgenres. We've got chapters 1 through 41 available on Azuki right now. Last but not least, I feel like I'm maybe leaning toward the comedy and the romance on my list, but this is a series that I just really want everybody to read at all times. This is Tsuredure Children by Toshiya Wakabayashi. You might have seen there was an anime a couple years ago based on this. Frankly, if you bounced off the anime, I recommend you give the manga another shot. This is an ensemble high school romantic comedy that's about a bunch of these kind of hapless kids who are trying to confess their love to each other, or trying to understand if the person who likes them or who they likes them back. And it's about all of them, boys and girls, falling on their faces trying to figure this stuff out. It's very, very funny. Some of the best reaction shots in any comedy manga, I would say. And it's a 4-chroma comic as well. And we've got a lot of chapters. This is a very bingeable series. We've got chapters 1 through 174 available to read on Azuki. So I think, in terms of just opening up an app and binging through a manga, Tsuredure Children's a pretty good choice there. All right, that was my last one. So we're kind of nearing the end here. Once again, if you would like to follow us for more announcements or just to talk to us, you want to tell us about a manga you're reading, we love to hear that, and we sometimes kind of retweet folks who are talking about something they're really liking on Azuki. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're Read Azuki on all 3 platforms. And again, we announce when new chapters go up for Simulpub series, as well as when we get new chapters for our catalog stuff as well. And if and when we've got new announcements for entirely new series on Azuki, we will also be obviously posting that on social media. So check us out there. So that's it for the presentation part of the panel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I actually don't have chat in front of me, so I'm just crossing my fingers that you all enjoyed and are having a good time.
Turn up Fader 2, I can read you
some of the chat. Yeah, all right. So JP's going to help me with Q&A here. Oh, all right.
There we go.
I'm in charge of the fader over here. So
so the chat has been very positive.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everybody.
We already have some questions, actually.
Great.
This one is from our Twitch moderator, Poppy. I know earlier you mentioned adding new payment methods. I can't find a way to add my payment method through iOS right now. Should mobile users be using the website? Yeah, that's for the first time.
That's a great question. Yeah. So for now, you should sign up for premium on the website, including if you're using the mobile apps. But yeah, that is that. I mean, we're not really revealing exactly like what the priority list is, but for sure, like being able to sign up in apps is something that's pretty important. So we'll let you know. We'll let you know when that happens. Yeah. That's what I can say about that right now. For now, go to the website, but that's definitely on the radar.
This one is from Kurosuke TV, that I believe is the online con from last weekend. What are some challenges that you are facing as a new platform?
Well, that's a good question. I think the challenge is always going to be for something like this when you're new is going to be getting content, getting manga, right? We were really lucky to have two great partners at launch. But of course, you got to kind of scramble and talk to as many people as you can to try to get as much manga. So that's definitely something that just, is a lot of legwork and a lot of kind of working out deals with folks. Yeah, I mean, there's that. There's the fact that we're a pretty small team, so we appreciate everybody's patience. We like any new platform, we sometimes have some hiccups, but this is a labor of love. We are I'll say we're not getting rich off this right now. This is everybody's putting a lot of time in, and it's because they love manga and want to make this thing for everybody.
This one you might not be able to answer. It kind of is leaning on that territory, but are you in the future going to be localizing manga, or is the plan to just work with other publishers that already have manga translated?
Yeah, I can't give you probably a satisfactory answer, but I would say stay tuned. There's a lot of things like that are things we're considering and may have news on in the future, but I can't make any promises there.
I imagine that is a significant cost difference from just getting pre-translated manga. Will there be a Kindle version available?
I mean, again, I can't say that we have plans for it, but that kind of stuff is we appreciate that kind of feedback. And I mean, again, it's like a maybe, right?
Sure.
We'll look into that. And again, it's useful to hear if you really want it on Kindle, then we have limited number of people working on stuff, but the more that we know where the demand is and what's going to really help people the most, the better we can decide kind of where to put that effort.
I guess that depends on which Kindle they're talking about, because their tablets are Android based, so it would in theory work. I'm not a very tech savvy person.
Yeah, I don't actually know the specifics of that, so it's possible. I know I mean, we have a website that works on a lot of different devices. I have frankly not tested on an e-ink device, but that is something that I'm interested in at least seeing if we can get the website to work well in an e-ink browser.
That would be cool. That is my only complaint with reading on an iPad is I would prefer to read on e-ink, but I understand there's a lot of technical limitations there. Yeah. Whimsy Dearest says, what makes your platform unique? I assume as compared to, there's actually not that many manga platforms. Are there?
Yeah, I mean, there are some. I mean, I think something that makes us unique is the multi-platform approach. So the fact that you can pick up and read on iOS, Android, and web, and save your progress across them. I mean, this is not something that is 100% unique, but I do think like having those, the commenting, and we're looking to add other community features as well. Mm-hmm. And that's like an area that we really want to focus on that I think has not gotten a ton of focus just yet, of like building community into our reading experience.
This is one that you probably can't answer, but are you open to hosting webcomics?
Yeah, like stuff like, are you going to add new content of any kind? We really can't give a great answer to. But again, I mean, trust me when I say like this is all stuff that is in our heads, and we could, we've considered all of this stuff, and we could potentially do that, but I wouldn't make promises yet.
This is not quite that, but again, it's like a feature-ish.
Actually, can I just, I didn't give a great answer to that, so I will just say, like, to be clear, right now the plan is not to have webcomics. I'm not like trying to be like give you too much of like a PR answer. So like that is not the plan right now, but I don't want to like say that is never the plan. So yeah.
Is there consideration to an offline mode? They're asking about downloading.
Yeah, that's one that I can say is definitely on the radar. But I can't make promises, but it is something that we are interested in, I would say. Yeah. And we'll let you know if we do add it.
I guess I'm not super familiar with your subscription model. It's saying you don't have an annual currently. Is that correct?
We don't have an annual currently. We've definitely heard that some folks want it, and that could be coming soon. But we'll let you know. Sorry, I can't give we'll announce things when we have them ready to announce.
Land of Obscusion is confirming that it does not work on Kindle tablets in the chat. Okay. Some of your partners publish light novels. Any interest in delivering those through your platforms? Don't you currently have light novels? Did I misunderstand that?
I'm going to turn my camera on. There we go. That's me. We don't have light novels right now.
Oh, yeah. I misunderstood then. Let's see.
I feel bad having to give so many answers that are like, no plans yet, right?
I feel bad saying something that turned out to be wrong, but I'm not familiar with a lot. I don't know every single title. Some of those looked like light novel covers. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, like Kodansha puts out light novels is what people are probably talking about.
Let's see. The chat, I think I read everything so far. All right. I have a question.
Oh, cool.
So shoot. I'm curious how long this idea came from talking about it, probably over lunch with friends, to becoming an app, what that process was like.
Oh, yeah. This has been maybe about 2 years, kind of on and off, right? Everybody's been doing a lot of unpaid work on it. So, a lot of us were, and in some cases still are, doing work like on the side while doing, full-time jobs. And it kind of was the sort of thing that ramped up a little bit slowly, where it was kind of an idea and some sketches and kind of concepts, and then accelerated as we got closer. Like, wait, this is real. Wait, we have a website. We have licenses. This actually has to happen now.
So when you're looking to, this is probably going to be a little bit of both. When you're looking to acquire a title, is there like a list that you're like, we definitely have to try to get these, or did you just cast a wide net and like take whoever said, yes, we'd like to work with you?
I guess it's a bit of both. Like, part of it is these kinds of conversations will center around like the partner relationships, right? So I think this is maybe something that gets missed sometimes by fans is it's not. There was maybe a recent news story people might have seen that might have people thinking about these kinds of questions. it's not necessarily something where you just walk in and say like, all right, I like this manga, I want this manga, right? At least in our case, it's definitely something where you might have some ideas of things that you want, but you have to start the conversation by like talking to a publisher who has their own kind of, strategies and plans for things. And then you sit down and figure out like, well, what can we do together, right? What do you have that you can, make available, and what works for us, and what do we think that our audience is going to like? Yeah.
And is that conversation had with an American representative of these companies, or are you going to Japan or having Zoom meetings with the Japanese publishers?
I mean, so right now we've worked all this stuff out with the US publishers. So we're working with Kodansha USA and with Kaiten. Kaiten is a US based manga publisher. Yeah.
You can tell where my knowledge lacks. I'm an anime guy. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I love manga, but I don't know as much about that world.
Yeah, I mean, Kodansha USA is the US branch.
Oh, yeah, I suppose
Kodansha,
the USA part.
Right.
I just, whenever I hear about licensing, I imagine people like jet lagged to oblivion, like, this is from Rev Tobias.
Hello.
It's a alteration of a question that may have already been answered. What is the biggest challenge breaking into this market?
I think one of the challenges is that it's still a little bit new, and I think the Japanese manga market has started to moving pretty aggressively into digital, but there's still I think a little bit of getting used to it going on for putting this stuff on services like Azuki, and so. Yeah, it's you got to kind of like show that it's worth it, and that it's that Azuki or I think anybody doing something similar needs to show that it's going to help improve the popularity of these series, and it's gonna bring money back to the creators, right? And then it's going to be worth it. So that's definitely like a challenge I think broadly in manga right now. Is we think that this kind of thing is really important to getting manga out to more people. And getting it legally out and
Sure.
actually getting revenue for these things so that the creators get money for all the fans who are reading it. But it's still kind of, you need to do some convincing to get everybody on board.
So and
that's not to say anything bad about our publishers, who have been great and are really helpful in getting this stuff going.
This is maybe more of a personal opinion for you. It's more about manga philosophy in the digital realm, to make that sound as pretentious as possible. So I love that I can read manga digitally. I find just the ease of it to be, I know I just said I don't read a lot, but I almost read exclusively digital manga. But one thing that I have not super cared for is that, at least on the American side, with things like Shonen Jump, they've distanced themselves away from presenting it like a magazine, and now it's just like, oh, Chainsaw Man is out, I guess I'll just read Chainsaw Man.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Do you
like
have
it's presented as like a
it just
like
says
a
the new
Netflix
chapters
style
out.
app instead of like a magazine? Yeah,
I'm just curious, as somebody that's now in the manga industry, if you have an opinion on why companies are slowly moving away from that magazine style format. I found it to be very charming, and I still read the manga, but I really liked how it used to be presented, and it makes me miss like the paperback version.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, because like it makes me think of like a friend of mine who does a website called Jajanken that I promoted on Twitter before because I thought it was really cool, and it's like tracks the position of Shonen Jump manga. Now I'm talking about other manga stuff here. It's not Azuki, but it's all good. So like tracks the position of each title like in the table of contents basically of the magazine, and it's like a way of tracking like what's popular based on how they position it, and like what gets a cover page or a cover image and stuff. And yeah, like I think there is something to the curation that goes on there. Whereas I said it before, I think I would probably pin that trend on the things like Netflix. I mean, we're doing it too, right? We're presenting it as an app, not as a magazine. And I think it does kind of make like I appreciate. I'm kind of with you that there's like a charm to that magazine format, but it's also like it makes a lot of sense for publishers and for companies to start presenting things in this like app way, because you can personalize more, right? You can kind of get away from this like one size fits all thing, which is charming, but maybe not as effective for like actually kind of showing people the stuff that they want to read and like actually getting them to read it.
I would imagine your perspective is also influenced by now being part of a business that in theory would like to make money doing this, that the added cost of designing a magazine when you could just post a chapter and probably just as many people are going to read it is something that they consider.
I'm of two minds though, because I also like the magazine, and it's like, I kind of think it would be cool actually to integrate some of that into these apps. So I'm not saying that as Azuki, I'm saying that as Evan, that's like, that's cool. That's a cool thing to think about.
I definitely would be more likely to read a manga in that format because it's already open. Whereas like One Piece, I never really got into One Piece, but I'd read it every week because it was already in my hands.
There's that too. Yeah. That you get that experience of having like the latest chapter kind of hitchhike on the thing that you actually are reading.
I'm going to get back to the user questions. I was stalling a bit so Tony could fill the
oh, it's all good.
The thing.
I kind of like the question like that doesn't put me on the spot about the Azuki thing, and it's just like I get to talk about manga.
Ruby, a mutual friend of ours, is asking where the name comes from.
Oh, the name, right. So Azuki refers to red beans, which is, you might have had red bean paste before in a lot of Japanese sweets like taiyaki and mochi. And we were kind of, thinking about Azuki as like before it was called that, as it's like a manga cafe. It's like this, place where you can come to read manga, but also there's other people there and you can talk about it. And we were just thinking about like snacks that you would want to eat at a cafe, or snacks you would eat while reading manga. And as with any kind of naming conversation like this, it's just a lot of brainstorming and throwing names out. And we landed on Azuki and just thought it was a cute name that felt right for like the vibe we were going for. And then we worked out the logo and everything, which
it's a cute logo.
Our Android developer designed it, and we love it. It's really great.
This is something that admittedly, I'm not a premium member, so if this is in a premium feature, I apologize. But I'm looking through the app, and somebody also in the chat is asking if there will be a search option in the future as well as a genre search.
Those were both on the slide I showed earlier, the feature roadmap. So those are both coming.
Good thing I was paying attention.
It's all good. You were
I was running other
doing
things
your job
too.
over here.
I'm sorry.
So search is. We have search. It's like functional, right? Because we have it on web. So it's just a question of adding the search box and everything to mobile, which we're working on. That's definitely coming. And then genres, same basic thing. Genres we don't currently do on web, but they're coming. We're adding genres to all three. Yeah,
it's possible that person showed up halfway through the panel as well.
It's fine.
I'm the one with egg on my face, so let's see. This is from Ink, a friend of both of ours.
Hey, Ink.
What are the best seinen and josei series on your platform? And why are they Space Brothers and Chihaifu? I walked into that. I should have read the whole question first.
Ink of, this is where I get to promote the other thing I do. Ink of Old Taku no Radio, asking the real Old Taku question by asking about seinen and josei manga. Those might be some of the best choices, actually. Yeah, Chihaya Furu is on Azuki and highly recommended, as is Space Brothers. I think I mentioned at least one of them because, I
think you mentioned Chihaifu. I saw people in the chat talking about it.
Yeah, I did not mention it before, but we have that. I think Battle Angel Alita is a very good seinen manga.
That one came up, I think.
Man, that's a good question though. We have Princess Jellyfish, which is also
nice,
very great josei. Yeah.
Grappler Baki, no,
no, not yet at least.
I don't think that one is digital, but it's I think specific to Amazon. It's a weird one. Let's see. I'm trying to find ones that you can actually answer. 'Cause there was one about payment options, and you said that there'll be news about that coming soon, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll definitely blast that out as soon as we've got more options available for payment.
Here is one. I'd love to see user profiles have book tracking features similar to Goodread.
Yeah, that's something again that like we have definitely thought about and talked about as part of that idea of like we want this to be a community. So like I said, I mean, small team just launched.
Sure.
So there's, this is kind of like the beginning feature set, but those kinds of things are definitely like on our radar. And that's a great area where we do want to hear from folks about like what's going to kind of give you the most value and make this a better community for you to take part in. I think that stuff would be cool personally, like having more robust kind of ways of tracking your stuff and having like a profile for it.
So you launched very recently on the 28th, is that correct?
Yeah, June 28th. It's been a wild couple of weeks here.
I'm curious, and maybe there's not an exciting answer, but why that specific date? Was that just when you got done, or was that a goal that was set early on?
Yeah, I mean, this stuff like fluctuates a lot. You're like trying to figure out what's the right date. Let's see how much. What's the like a good answer here? Like, I mean, part of it was like we had kind of conventions coming up, and we were like, all right, let's go ahead and do it. Like, we want to kind of get out in front of people, right, and make sure we can get the word out. And we had stuff ready, but it was just with software development like this, it's a question of like how ready are
Sure.
You could keep tinkering with it forever, and at a certain point, you're just like, got to put this in front of people. Got to like actually kind of go ahead and do it.
This one's an easy one. What's on your shirt?
What's on my shirt? Oh, come on, people in the chat. If Daryl is here, he's going to be like yelling it at everybody.
I haven't taken a good look. It looks like GoGo 13.
It's
GoGo
13. Yeah, JP got it. Yeah.
I saw that come up in the chat. I thought they were just asking if you would license it.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not wearing like something that's on Azuki, but I like GoGo 13.
No one's going to blame you for that. Let me see. I'm going to go back over to the chat window and see if there's anything I'm missing. I don't know how you can answer this one, but why not? How do you plan to deal with piracy?
I mean, we kind of hope that just kind of if we do a good enough job, that will help on a certain level. And not to say that's the only thing that needs to be done, right? But part of the reason why we wanted to make sure we have it, we have Azuki available on not just mobile but also on web and on mobile web, is we hope that people will find us and start reading on Azuki instead of landing on a pirate site. And that is like the great thing about there being more options now for digital manga, is there's more avenues to kind of steer people away from that so that they do something that actually like brings money back to the creators.
Sure.
So that's just the basic thing, is just we want to be a better option for people. And I guess I don't have like a really solid answer for other stuff, but there's other like tactics that could be explored that some companies have explored about how to fight piracy. But I kind of think that's the big one. Like otherwise it's hard to really like wean people off of it. You
Sure.
do need to just give them something that like is good enough that it's worth it to switch over.
Exactly.
And that you can get in front of them, like people who kind of don't know better, right? That
Sure.
like when they search to read manga, like it should be easy for them to like find the right path and find a legal service instead.
Well, I mean, the thing with the piracy is it's people that may not know better, it's people that don't care, or it's people on the fence. And the people on the fence are presumably your customers and the people that don't know any better. It's maybe,
in addition to like people who just already read legal manga are also our customers.
of course. Yes, but they wouldn't be in the ones pirating. I guess not that it's the perfect answer, but for me, the reason I switched over to the legal method is because it just became easier.
Right. That's the idea.
It had nothing to do with morals, which is not the answer that you want to hear as a manga publisher. But for $5,
well, you kind of can't build a business off of morals,
Sure.
unfortunately.
It might even be cheaper. It might be, I don't know, a couple bucks for a lot of these apps, and I can just read whatever I want. And some of them are so cheap that I don't even if I don't use it, I just stay subscribed. It's like, it's $5. I was going to spend that on coffee anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jadine says that's a good answer for the piracy question. A lot of times it's lack of access as well. But your worldwide except Japan.
Yeah, that's a huge. I mean, we definitely hear complaints about that when something launches that's like only in one country, and then there's so many people around the world who can't get it. So having global access is really helpful there, and that is like to their credit, like that's our partners were able to provide that, right? That's not. I mean, that's something that we're proud of, but it's also like it's the result of our partners being willing to do that. So.
Oh, they put a follow-up. I misunderstood their question. What they meant was, are there safety measures in place to prevent people from screen capping your app?
They're talking about that, right? Yeah, we do have safety measures for that. And I mean, there's like sometimes there's only so much you can do in some cases, but we have stuff in there to prevent it as best as possible. And yeah, that's kind of.
I'm going to combine two questions that you can't answer and ask it as one, and phrase it as a single comment. More people just saying they would love social media integration and the ability to track and share.
What do people mean by social media integration? I mean, I have ideas about what that can mean, but I'm curious.
That's a good question. I'm assuming they mean like linking it to something like Mal, or linking to Facebook where it auto-publishes whenever they read a new chapter, which I find obnoxious. I hope people don't do that.
Some people like it, yeah.
Some people do that. I've unfollowed people on Twitter for like every time they watch an episode. But they did, Mal and Analyst were specifically named, so I assume they mean like after they finish a chapter, but that would also be up to those sites being compatible with whatever.
Depends. Yeah, I haven't messed around with the MyAnimeList API. I think they have an API now. This is like getting into technical stuff, but it depends. I mean, if they have an open way of communicating with them, that kind of stuff could be technically possible. That stuff sounds cool to me. I'll say, but we'll have to look into that. Definitely interested in things like that make it easier to build community on Azuki.
Oh, this is funny. I didn't notice some of these questions before. Somebody asked essentially the question I asked about magazine format.
Oh, cool.
So that was serendipitous.
You're not the only one.
It's something I think about every time I read a Shonen Jump manga. Not to drop another publisher, but they're one of the bigger ones. So they're the only one I really think about when I think about some of the bigger things like paradigm changes.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're asking about reader surveys.
I guess,
will there be surveys to help? That seems like it'd be pretty complicated, because even if somebody selects a thing, you can't necessarly. I guess it doesn't hurt.
It's not complicated to do. It's complicated to deliver on them if everybody asks for stuff. But that is, I think we'll probably end up doing that at some point, because we definitely do want to like have a more organized way of getting that feedback. I assume people are talking about surveys for like licensing.
I think that's what because they're mentioning the 7 C's reader surveys. Yeah, they're asking if you plan to take requests for things to publish. Yeah.
I think yes, we would like to take requests. Like obviously with any of these, any of the publishers who do that can tell you that the requests are not binding or anything.
Sure.
You can't make any promises. But that is definitely something that I think we should do to get like a better idea of what our users are looking for.
So we touched on piracy in relation to screen sharing or screenshots. Does the Azuki app currently block screenshots if somebody wanted to share what they're reading in a just like, hey, oh man, this panel was really cool?
I think I would have to look into that. I don't have a good answer for that right now. But a kind of sharing and screenshot functionality is something, again, I can't make a promise on, because some of this is going to be a little bit dependent on like publisher stuff and what they're comfortable with. But we definitely are interested in sharing features generally, in like ways of making posting on social media about like a page that you really like, that kind of thing.
I think what they mean is if they use like the iPhone screenshot, will it black out the screen?
The built-in screenshot functionality.
I'm going to phrase this as a comment. It's a request that in the future you have 18 plus content. I don't know if that's part of your mission, but the fans are asking for it.
All right.
They're specifically saying it'd be cool if you partnered with a company like Faku.
Okay. Yeah. We don't currently have 18 plus content. I think we have some stuff that's like on the more mature side, but not explicitly like porn.
That would block you from most app stores, wouldn't it?
That is one of the troubles. Yeah, that some other manga companies have definitely run into. Not
that I agree with that stance, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, some like companies sometimes have to split this stuff off, and it is. I would say it's unfortunate. There's a lot of very negative knock-on effects of that kind of like. I don't know if I'd call it censorship, but yeah, that kind of restriction of what's allowed on the app stores.
This is a question for fun. It's about you. Okay. What are some of your favorite manga? They asked for 3. I'm just going to open it to just some of your favorite manga.
Okay, so I have to answer. So this is where I'm like taking the marketer hat off because I'm going to say things that are not necessarily on Azuki.
You don't have to answer it as Azuki if you want.
No,
we can
it's
save
good.
this for Burger Time.
I mean, I'm a manga fan and have spent a lot of time, reviewing manga and things like that before Azuki. I think I would say my favorite manga of all time is Pluto, the Naoki Urasawa adaptation of Astro Boy. I'm a really big Tezuka fan, and I think that story is such a perfect like distillation of a lot of Tezuka's ideas, but told through this like more adult reinterpretation. So that's like number 1. I think Blackjack is another Tezuka thing. It might be number 2.
Nice.
And then it's a little tough when I get down to
Baki, of course.
Else. No, I haven't read much Baki actually. I like the anime a lot, but haven't read much of the manga. Let's see. I feel like I should have a really good answer there.
Probably Gogo 13. You're wearing the shirt.
Gogo 13 is it's pretty up there. I'll just I'll throw in like a curveball. This is not exactly my favorite manga, but like one chapter of it is one of the most impactful pieces of manga that I've ever read. It's a manga called Town of Evening Calm, Country of Cherry Blossoms. Very short, kind of not one shot. It's like 3 chapters from Fumio Kono, who is nowadays well known as the creator of In This Corner of the World.
Nice.
One of the saddest pieces of manga that I've ever read is the first chapter of that manga, and sticks with me. Yeah.
So I have, and maybe this is a difficult question to answer, but you're in a unique situation where you both, and I don't know if you're actively writing, but you do write about anime and manga sometimes, and you're now also working for a company that is publishing manga. Do you see, if you're still actively writing, do you see a conflict of interest as a writer now? Or would you just avoid Azuki titles?
There's a conflict. I mean, I'd be lying if I said there isn't a conflict.
I guess what I mean is, would you still write the same way that you would write before? If say you were hired to review Battle Angel Alita, which is on your platform,
what I would do is I would simply not take that job. Like if somebody, I haven't done this since Azuki launched, but in recent history, I have like written articles for Anime News Network, right? Mm-hmm. So like, if they called me up to review something that was on Azuki, especially, I would just turn it down. There's no way I would do that. And I kind of, right now, I think my personal policy is like, I'm just not doing manga reviews.
I guess that's the best way.
Right? Like this, because now I'm in the manga industry in a way that I wasn't before, like where it's just not appropriate.
Yep.
I still do my podcast, and I'm still going to be talking about anime and video games for the foreseeable future. And I'll just have a disclaimer.
You just got to stay out of those industries.
So people know, like, hey, I got this thing. Take it with a grain of salt. But I am not the kind of person who is going to like give you a fake review because I work for a manga company.
So we have time for maybe one more. We'll see if this is a quick one. Will Azuki have? Oh wait, no, that's not the right one. They're asking if you'll have anime. I'm guessing no.
That's that's like a who knows.
My window scrolled too quick, and I found the right one that I was looking for. Not that that was a bad question. There are no bad questions. Will y'all be adding more accessibility stuff, such as skip to content, and will there be ways for folks to ask provide accessibility feedback. I'm not familiar with what skip to content is.
I know exactly what they're talking about because I do accessibility a lot, and that is, I'll just admit that's a mistake that I made. There should be a skip to main content link on the site, and I will personally be adding that shortly. I did a lot of accessibility stuff on the site that I think I got right, but I don't have like a relevant, I don't have a disability. So I don't, the people who are actually using assistive technology, will still find mistakes that I might make. So that's one that was an oversight. And please do. I think we have a support. We have like a Fresh Desk support site that's on the bottom of in the footer of the site. So you can go in there and submit accessibility requests, and I will probably be the one who fixes things or responds to your request. But yeah, please do send those. Accessibility for me personally is a priority, and it's definitely a priority for Azuki. So we do want to get that stuff fixed.
All right, so we're at the end. I'm going to ask one more question because it allows you to promote your panel tomorrow. Are there any manga burgers available on Azuki?
Any manga burgers
that you're aware of? I understand you're not going to know about every single page.
Every single chapter on Azuki, so I can't say for sure. I'm trying to think if there is even a burger in anything that I've read. I kind of like somewhat turn the knob down on the burger detection when I'm not watching anime, but it's still there. So if I see like a live action movie where they eat a burger, it still kind of like does a little bit of like, oh no, I can't use that. Right?
Nice.
But yeah, thank you for that. I was going to self-promote a little bit. So I do have a panel that is completely unrelated to Azuki, and anything I say in it is not, does not represent my employer, called Anime Burger Time tomorrow at, when is it, 8 o'clock? 8 p.m., I think?
Let me keep promoting. I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's 8, I think it's 8 p.m. On the Anime Lockdown stream. And it is returning from last year. It is does what it says on the tin. 1 hour of anime hamburger video clips.
Yep, 8 p.m.
And it is a BYOB event. So bring your own burger. I will be eating my own burger. I'll probably be here. I think I'm going to come back.
Okay, yeah, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, so please show up. That's going to be a lot of fun. I know we had some folks requesting it, which warmed my heart that people liked it so much last year.
Yeah, you were one of the ones that the staff was like, "Are you getting Evan back?" I'm like, I don't want to. I mean, I asked if he was going to submit, but he said he was still thinking about it. I don't want to bug him. And cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us as an industry guest. I think it's really cool. I didn't know you were, obviously, because it was a secret. I didn't know you were working on this until you submitted your panel.
Which we submitted before we announced. So you got a little sneak preview. You were like, what is this thing?
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, wait, Evan. And I went to the website and there was nothing on it. Like, I don't think I can talk about this. Cool. Well, you're welcome to hang out as long as you want. I assume you want to get back home where the air conditioner actually works. But you're more than welcome to hang out as long as you want. I can't push my buttons over there.
Okay, well, I'll step out of the seat.
Let's trade
and
spots.
You can come over here. Thank you, everybody, for watching and for all the questions. And check us out on azuki.co. And thanks so much, JP, for helping with all this.